Hey everyone, Isabel Fox here from Fox Girls, and today we're talking about the truth behind how to up your rates. I want to talk about why some escorts can charge so much more than others. I get a lot of inquiries from people and questions around how they can up their rate, if they should up their rate, what their rate should be, and basically how they can maximize making more money. So I really want to address today in detail, so I'll let you know in advance that this is a bit of a long one, how it is that some girls can charge so much more than others, and give you the psychology behind that so that you can do the same. I've done this in a video format because I find that the verbal and the visual can be helpful, but I've also included the full text for you to take a look at in your own time, so feel free to reference that as well while I speak. So, how is it that an escort who is charging $400 an hour is dead with no work, and another is charging $1,200 an hour, which is triple the other amount, and she has more work than she requires? Do you know why that is? The answer lies in value. Those who offer more value earn more money. So then we have to define what is value. Value is represented in how many or how big of problems we are able to solve. When I myself went from charging $2,000 an hour, I was able to do so because I had developed the skill to solve more and greater problems for my clients. So think of the difference here between buying a Louis Vuitton bag for $3,000 and a bag from Target for $30. A gorgeous LV tote is literally 10 times the price of a Target bag. Now, both items have the ability to hold stuff. That's what you buy it for. However, both items aren't made from the same quality fabric. They don't have the same exciting buying experience, and one probably looks better than the other, and we feel more impact on our social status holding an LV bag than we do holding a Target bag. So this is similar to the service we provide. At both $400 an hour and $1,200 an hour, we are expected to make our client come. That's the minimum requirement. However, there are many other important factors that contribute to the quality of that experience that makes one worth more than the other. So for example, at Louis Vuitton, they only let a certain amount of people into their store at once. One of the biggest and most successful leaders in fashion stresses user experience in all the things they do. They will literally make customers queue outside to ensure only the number of people they can actually serve at once is in the store. They know that if they provide a good buying experience, buyers will come back, and that's what makes them such a powerhouse corporation. When I was able to increase my prices, I didn't just solve the problem of how do I come for a client. I had also figured out how to solve deeper problems that my clients were facing, like loneliness, human connection, and the need to feel appreciated and wanted. This is seen throughout the world in other areas of service too. Those who are earning huge amounts of money are those who are solving big problems for large amounts of people, or are those who are solving big problems that few other people can solve. So on a larger scale, let's take a step back and look at sex work as a whole. Why are we paid so much? There are two reasons here: stigma and value. The core reason at the higher price is value. Sex work provides an answer to many big problems in society, such as preventing sex crimes, improving marriages, providing company and intimacy to lonely people who need it. We will delve into these things in more detail shortly, which makes it highly valuable. Now, stigma contributes to the supply and demand of the accessibility of that value. So what that means is that because our line of work is stigmatized, less people are willing to do it, which means that there are less people to provide this important service to those who need it. The demand for the need of what we offer is high. Many people need access to sex work to help them with important problems. Stay with me to learn more about what these important issues are. But there aren't as many people there to provide it because stigma discourages people from wanting to do so. The supply of sex work is less than the need for it. For example, when a new iPhone is released, there are many people who want it, but not enough new iPhones available to be bought. So the worth of that iPhone is much higher because there are more people who want it than there are iPhones. This is also why we are seeing a decrease in the value of sex work, as more people become open to doing it and as stigma slowly decreases over time. As more people become open to doing sex work due to a decrease in stigma, which was one of the reasons they didn't want to do it in the first place, the supply and accessibility of sex work goes up. So in short, more competition drives the price of our service down. A happy side note to mention here, even in the face of increased competition, if you focus on providing value that other girls don't, you will differentiate yourself and stand out from others. You will ensure your own demand by becoming one of the few who can deliver quality and will make this far less impactful on your business. When I first started in the sex industry, I worked in a brothel and was paid $155 for a standard hour. At the peak of my career, I charged $2,000 an hour. When I work with girls and help them to increase their rates, the first step in doing so is an important perspective shift in understanding exactly why what we offer is so valuable. Why is sex work so important, and exactly what important problems does it solve? It was a close mentor of mine who helped me to understand this by doing an important exercise with me that I now do with any person I work with. Let's do it together now. We are going to make a list of benefits that sex work offers to society, and we are going to give them a dollar value. So I've pulled together here an example exercise I did with a girl I work with. Obviously, the dollar figures here that are used are extremely arbitrary, and for the sake of the exercise, this is not me or anyone else specifically saying that any of these issues are as simple as a monetary amount. Please don't take this literally. It is meant for the purpose of transforming one's perspective, not to rate the importance and value of the things that are listed. I am not implying that rape or anything else listed is worth a monetary figure. So I asked the person I was working with, let's call her Sarah, to start thinking of the things she felt sex work offered as a benefit to society and what dollar value she would pay for that just off the top of her head. The following is just a small portion of what she came up with me. So the first benefit she listed was prevents rape. Through her own conclusions, she gave that a value of $100,000. The second one was provides intimacy to lonely people. She valued that at $1,000. Provides intimacy and sex to disabled people. She valued that at $5,000. Teaches men how to engage with women. She valued that at $500. Prevents divorce. Valued at $10,000. Provides a safe space for sexual exploration that otherwise would go unfulfilled. $1,000. Prevents the sexual abuse of children. $100,000. And she means that by saying that there is an outlet for people who have sexual desires that can't be fulfilled. And lastly, decreases violence within society, $50,000. Now, the purpose of this exercise is to demonstrate clearly the value our service has to offer beyond the minimum requirement of just having sex or making a person come. The reason I ask you to give a dollar value to these things is to demonstrate the relationship between value and price. An LV bag has more benefits, more perceived value, and therefore the price is higher. I would also like to make the point here that it is the buyer who deems what is valuable to them. It's what is important to our client that is the reason he buys or not what we think is important. A Mercedes has some features, benefits, a better buying experience, and more social status than a Holden. Therefore, people are willing to pay more for it. When you stay at a luxury hotel, you expect a better quality experience in every way. Better service, nicer facilities, a more comfortable bed, tastier food than you do at a standard low-end hotel, and you know it will cost more. Those escorts who are charging more are those who are offering more benefits, value, and solving more important problems. Let's address now our original issue. How do we earn more as an escort? We focus on developing the skills to solve more specialized needs and problems for our clients. I generally advise girls to pick 1 or 2 areas to specialize in. Just like the plastic surgeon who specializes in breast plants has set himself apart from the GP who is a jack of all trades. Specializing in 1 or 2 key areas will mean you can charge more for it. For example, one of the girls I work with is a very natural-looking beauty. She doesn't do crazy kinds of sexual acts, but she's incredibly authentic, down-to-earth, and intelligent. So this is our hook when booking clients. We don't try to sell on a porn star service, being the most attractive or giving the best blowjobs. We look for clients who specifically want what she's so good at providing. Another girl I work with is a modern-day Pamela Anderson. She is a killer at adventurous raunchy sex, she gives phenomenal lap dances, and she looks like the girl you may suspect is a porn star behind closed doors. We don't sell girlfriend. We sell what she's excellent at, and so all those clients who want that flock to her. Once we do that, we must also learn how to sell, our ability to do this, to our prospective clients. It's why I often talk about the need to learn how to sell. It's vital to be able to attract more clients to you and to get them to book you. We are business people and salespeople first, before we are sex workers. You may be the best person at your chosen profession, but if you don't know how to sell that service to people, you will not make money. Now, when I'm first talking about selling, girls often cringe. But Belle, I don't want to be that pushy salesperson, and I totally get it, me neither. It's important to recognize that stigma is associated with selling in the same way it is associated to sex work. This stigma is completely based on people in the selling profession who don't do that selling properly or professionally and give it a bad name, just like our profession. The key to understand here is that selling has stigma, like sex work, not because there's anything wrong with it, but because people have been exposed to unprofessional salespeople, which then gives selling a bad rep. To up your rates, you must begin with a perspective shift from not just, I want more money, but to, how can I provide more value and solve more problems for my clients, which then in turn leads to earning more money, getting more clients, and securing repeat clientele. There's actually nothing wrong with making and wanting to make more money, but you must accept that to make more money, you must provide a higher level of service, just like a lawyer, surgeon, etc. When you do that, that's when you make more money. It is also very helpful to realize that this is just standard sales training. It is taught by the greatest salespeople in the world and implemented by many people in legitimate, highly respected professions. Just as a good lawyer needs to know how to sell their service, we need to learn how to sell ours. This realization can be a very useful tool to help anyone struggling with the thought that sex work isn't real or legitimate work. Another point worth discussing here is that there's also more value at the highest level because clients can easily get sex for a much lower price, but they can't get their other more complex needs met by someone who is only interested in cash and who sees them as an amount of dollars to be earned. People who can afford higher prices, one, expect more, as anyone who is paying more for anything expects better quality due to the very fact they are paying more. They have higher demands because they're spending more, and any service that's of high quality will cost more, and that person knows that. 2, they're usually smarter, hence why they're able to earn more money. Smarter clients can easily spot someone who is only in it for the money without caring about giving more in exchange. And thirdly, these people have problems that go beyond their need for sex, and if you're perceptive enough to look at and see these additional needs, just like a professional salesperson, then you can satisfy them and add more value to the client for which he is willing to pay more. If you only focus on the money, ignoring effectively your client, you won't be able to see their needs simply because you're way too preoccupied with your own needs and the dollars involved. So a good salesperson at Louis Vuitton doesn't just walk straight up to you and say, take this $3,000 bag. They first walk up to you and try to learn more about what you need and what they can do for you. Every one of your clients is an individual. Yes, we know that their minimum requirements are almost identical. You need to be able to make them come. But you will never be able to make big money doing just that, because many others can do that too. You're just another commodity. You're just like all the other girls out there if that's all you do. You must be a specialist and therefore provide way more value for which you can charge more. The more educated you are and experienced with sales, the better you will be at being able to identify and satisfy your clients' needs. Here is an example that I think many readers in our industry will be able to relate to. When I worked in a brothel, 80% of men I introed would jump at the words girlfriend experience over mechanical sexual terms and offerings like ball sucking and anal play. What I found was that when I was trying to get a client to book me, if I spoke about a girlfriend experience that felt genuine, unrushed, connected, and passionate, they were far more likely to book me than if I sat there and told them all the sexual acts I would do to them. So what this tells you immediately is that the emotional needs clients are seeking to fulfill are more valuable and desirable to them than the actual sex. I was differentiating myself by becoming a specialist for a specific field. I was different from all the other girls I worked with, though note that I still provided the minimum sexual requirement. By focusing on these things, it also removes some of the commonly held beliefs that certain things like size and appearance are the most important thing in our industry. I have never been the most attractive girl in the industry, nor the slimmest, and I certainly don't have the biggest boobs. Physical appearance is important to a degree. You do need basic physical attraction, but beyond that, selling and value matters more. When I truly began to specialize and charge accordingly, I noticed that a lot of my clientele were married men. This got me to thinking, what exactly was it that these married men were missing? Many of them spoke to me about their beautiful wives, some even told me that they had plenty of sex, so why were they coming to me at all? I did a ton of research on the topic, and I found that the key reason men have affairs is due to not feeling appreciated at home. I made it my mission to deliver this to them. I developed strategies and I got very good at it, and to this day I have clients who refuse to go elsewhere, as do the women I work with, due to the effective strategies I teach them that we implement. So to wrap this all up, if you want to increase your rates, you need to 1. Offer more value that clients want. Solve more important problems beyond just having sex. And 2. Learn how to sell, so that the clients you can help will actually choose to buy from you in the first place. By becoming aware that by satisfying your client's special needs, you will make way more money, you'll have clients who will only want to book you, even if there are girls who look better than you and charge way less than you. This not only requires a perspective shift, but it also requires the ability to have the emotional strength to make this perspective shift. The stigma associated with our industry means that people will want to criticize you, or try to influence you away from thinking that the service you offer is of great importance and special significance. Stick to your convictions. Don't listen to these people. Think of our above exercise where we laid out clearly all the value we have to offer. Initially, yes, this will be hard to come to terms with. The social stigma surrounding what we do is strong and has historically been going on for a long time. It's hard to go against social norms. But if you have the conviction to change your own beliefs around what you do, to start looking for the value you can give to clients beyond having sex, and caring more about your client's needs than how much he's paying you, then you will be guaranteed success in raising your prices, finding clients who will pay you those rates, and you will also have those clients wanting to come back to you time and time again. Now, I know we've spoken about a lot today, and I really hope it helps. For anyone wanting further help on what I've shared and spoken about, just jump on foxgirls.com.au and register for one of my 13 free mentoring calls that are currently up for grabs. I'm really looking forward to sharing more with you in our next lesson. You can hit me up anytime on isabels@foxgirls.com.au and stay tuned for our next clip.